Does black sesame actually fight gray hair? So this is definitely a question I've been getting more and more because of the becoming Chinese trend on TikTok. Black sesame has historically been an ingredient promoted by traditional Chinese medicine to help prevent and reduce gray hair. So is it fact or is it myth? What's the science behind it? So the answer is a bit complicated because it's partially fact, partially myth, and your beauty bitch is here to explain what I mean by that. So this idea is not new at all. If you're Chinese, you probably know, like my grandma has been telling me to eat black sesame for forever. She eats it every day. And I must say her hair is actually kind of turning blacker as she gets older, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's just anecdotal, separate from what I'm gonna say. My point is that it's a thing that's been around, but now social media and Chinese trends are kind of making it more in the spotlight. So let's start with what causes gray hair. So the answer is simple: oxidative stress. Now, what is oxidative stress and where does it come from? So oxidative stress is literally any stress that is put on you and your hair follicles. So that can be internal, that can be like stressing about stuff, that could also be stress from poor diet, exercise, lack of sleep, things like that. It can be environmental stress, so things like UV, pollution, things like that that actually put stress on your body can also cause it. So it's coming from anything that literally causes stress on your hair. As always, these environmental factors are going to play a huge role in that, but as always, genetics also plays a role as well. So that being said, the best way to fight oxidative stress is always going to be antioxidants. That's why you're supposed to eat tons of fruits and vegetables to fight any oxidative stress going on inside your body that can lead to things like inflammation and disease. That's why you're supposed to put vitamin C on your face every day to fight oxidative stress that's aging your skin. But antioxidants will also help the oxidative stress that causes gray hair. So from a Western perspective, the scientific answer is yes. Black sesame does help reduce gray hairs because it's a food that is rich in antioxidants. So the second piece is related more to a traditional Chinese medicine. So it's a little bit scientific and it's also a little like foo-foo. But anyway, my point is, the reasoning behind black sesame for gray hair is that people believe that the kidney is where kind of like the essence of you lives. And so foods that are black, like black sesame, are super, super rich in nutrients and vitamins and things that will nourish your kidney and your liver, that will kind of help restore your essence. So there is science behind that because your kidney and your liver do kind of relate to many different functions in your body that are responsible for health and vitality, and regulating stress. And so that definitely makes sense. I think there's like that spiritual kind of like energy component of healing your essence and kind of like bringing back the vitality to your hairs. And so yes, many black foods like black sesame, like black rice, black beans, and things like that tend to be richer in nutrients and vitamins that can help kind of restore your liver and your kidneys. And in turn, this helps fight stress in your body and also helps boost melanin production in your hair. And lastly, the part that's kind of myth is that I think people think because they're eating like black foods that like the melanin in there is transferring to your hair and going to like re-darken your hair. So I think it's kind of more just like folklore that consuming black things are gonna make your hair black again, or your hair pigmented again, because the pigment isn't really like transferring from your stomach to your hair. That doesn't really make sense. I think it's more just the relationship of pigmented foods tend to be more full of nutrients, and that's kind of what repigments your hair. But aside from that, black sesame actually is delicious to just eat it anyway. It's actually like a good sweetener alternative to sugars, and that's why a lot of Asian desserts are made with black sesame. So yeah, that's kind of like my spiel. It's not something I would say I prioritize for me personally. Like I just prioritize a high antioxidant diet, but like I said, I don't miss an opportunity to eat black sesame because it's delicious. Anyway, I hope this was insightful, and let me know if you have any questions.